This is a good morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending on when you might be watching this. This is a personal note, and it's off to a great start because it's come to my attention that it might be misleading and irresponsible to post videos online because people will believe them and they might worry. And it's actually kind of hard to make because it's hard for me to make because I'm idiotic. I don't know how else to say that. I don't want to say like I see the world differently because I've actually tried to tell myself that a lot in my whole life, and it doesn't help. But I don't not believe that because I inherently believe that diversity exists, and without the help of mass and coordination, your energy is potentially directionally limitless. I know that probably doesn't make any sense, but it's really the only words that I could find right then and there. I am going through a transitionary period of my life. He's always going through a transitionary period in his life. And I can't disagree with that, nor will I try, because I believe that. And to that, I would like to add that I will probably continue to go through transitionary periods up until my 60s. Because that's just how energy flows. You know, that's just how momentum works. Once you stop pushing on something, it still has to roll before it finally meets its end. And that is probably one of the hardest parts about stopping anything because I convinced myself that once you stop something, it just stops. And that's just not how things work. I'm sure I'm sure you can disagree with this, and I implore you to. Maybe maybe it doesn't work like that. I could be wrong, and my thoughts are conditioning how I experience the world, and thus how I then receive whatever the world might be telling me. Next point. I like absurdism, both for its comfort and for its stress. Like working out. It's hard, though there is a reward from it. And absurdism for me is that art genre that is sometimes hard to understand. Beautiful songbird. It also allows for a non-understanding reference, if that makes any sense. And it's not gonna make sense. See, that's the thing. It doesn't make sense. For me, I don't view absurdism or anything that would be absurd as pockets or pools left around the big terrain of understanding. I believe that understanding is an island and the ocean is absurdity. So once you reach the shore, you're not going to be able to walk. You're going to have to swim. I really do have a hard time explaining myself. And, I'm not going to disregard that's probably why I enjoy something like absurdism, because it's easier for me. And that's just, as unromantic, that's just who I am. And, maybe it is too romantic that I say that. But, I don't really know. I'm also a liar and manipulative and very conceited and lazy, lustful, arrogant. And it's not that I, you know, you can constantly say, I don't want to be that, I don't want to be that, I don't want to be that, I don't want to be those. And you can strive to be better, though I don't believe that those things go away, though when you stop pushing yourself over to the opposite edge of always trying to be, pious, forthcoming, trustworthy, you name it. When you're on the opposite end, all you can see is either everyone who's with you or everyone who's not. And until you go towards the center, those become the extremes. Those are extremities, and they will always be easiest to witness. Shiny object syndrome. It's only when you can allow a more central view do the extremes look null because everything is flat. I'm not going to say that I'm not arguing for myself, but I also believe, in a very real sense, everyone is doing that for themselves. I have also lived a lot where I just, like this video for instance, probably would have just lived in my head, and that's what I've done a lot of my life. And even if it is a train wreck, even if it is too late, and even if it is unimaginably selfish, I am starting to believe that I would rather die by my own fire than someone else's. So if you see any more videos from me, it's it's not a cry for help, though of course, it's online. I am trying to make some kind of money, but I'm not asking you for money right now. I will later, but it's also just a cry, hey world, I'm alive. Let's be alive.